I hit the live button, but it's not going.
That's not
Shit.
good. Yo,
Yeah.
imagine for the people
Oh.
who
50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 533. Today is June 12th,
moving.
2025. I'm all screwed up because of the StreamYard thing was screwed up today, but we are a little late, but not too late. Only about an hour late. StreamYard was down, but we're going to get you this episode up quick. We got some plays for tonight, game 4 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Got a great episode. We'll recap game 3 last night. Indiana takes game 3, and we got the UFL championship. It's already the championship, kid. We got Michigan Panthers taking on DC Defenders, and we had some day baseball. My Red Hot Mets, 6 in a row. They just swept the Nationals. Juan Soto heating up a little bit, but kid, how you doing today? It's hot. It's getting hot out.
And a real hot one today, boys. You know, a couple of times on the dash, it was clocking 93, 95 degrees outside. That's not good. I'm gonna say it's a roughly high 80s, but definitely fell over 90 a couple of times today. Other than that, people coming off a live game 3, Indiana took a 2-1 lead. Kind of surprised by that. Let's get into it, Dale.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're surprised. I think I'm the more surprised one,
Oh
if
yeah, yeah,
anything, but
yeah.
116 to 107. It was a close game all throughout the game until the last 3 minutes of the game. And I mean, the fourth quarter for Indiana, this whole playoffs, not just this series, this whole playoffs, Indiana has shot the lights out and they've owned the fourth quarter. They haven't lost back-to-back games in over 2 months now. So they've been really good. They've been clutch. And I mean, the story has to be Benedict. I mean, he had 27 points off the bench. TJ McConnell to close the half. He had 5 assists, 5 steals. Their bench, they got they got 37, 41. They had over 50 points from the bench. That was the difference maker. Outside of Shea, I mean, they really weren't able to get anything. I know Jalen Williams had a pretty good game, but 20 from Chet Holmgren. What'd you think of him? I thought he was a little soft yesterday.
Overall, I think on both sides of the floor, I think for a very young big man, I think OKC's asking him to do a lot against a very experienced backcourt with Miles Turner and Pascal. So overall, I think Chet's been doing pretty good. I think in game 3, he gave you a double double. I understand he went I think 0 for 6, 0 for 5 from the 3-point line. Yeah, maybe you want him to be a little more aggressive, put his head down, but we know he's a streaky shooter at times, especially from the 3-point line. I think Chet gave you 20 and 10 in his first road game in the NBA Finals. To me, that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. But you know, could have been a little better, a little productive? Absolutely, Dale. But I think from Chet Holmgren, from a young kid like himself, I think 20 and 10 for a game 3 road game is pretty stellar in my opinion. But like you say, I think Jalen Williams had himself an excellent game. HGH, we finally got there with the under. Big
Finally.
big emphasis on finally got there with the under, people. SGH, yeah, it was tamed. And after the first quarter, I felt very good about the bet. I saw that defensively, Limhard, Neesmith, even though they had, I think, 3 first half fouls each, they were still able to contain HGH. I know he had a little burst in the second quarter, but still, one thing that was surprising, how the Thunder won the first quarter, Pacers had a huge second quarter. I think they scored 40. OKC uh, answered in the third quarter, and then,
Mm-hmm.
like you said earlier, another huge fourth quarter by the Indiana Pacers. One thing I can say is we've seen the Pacers time and time again, not just in this finals, throughout this playoff run. Able to come back from double digits, able to compete and win out these
Yeah.
nip and tuck games. We haven't able to see that from this OKC team. Yes, they're all time.
Do you think the pressure is getting to them?
I think I think when it's a nip and tuck game with the last 3 minutes of the game, and I think we saw it in game 1, and then once again in game 3, they get a little tight. We see
do.
SGH miss some of those shots, and especially we all know SGH is probably the best mid-range shooter in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw him game 1 miss a bunny for him. That's a bunny for the MVP SGA. And then we saw him a couple of times to close out the game for game 3, where some of those mid-range bunnies for him, he wasn't able to knock him down. So I expect him to bounce back. But like you said, give Benedict Mathurin a huge game, 27 off the points, 9 from 12 from the field. TJ McCollum, like you said, 5 steals, 3 off the inbound, and especially close the first half.
The momentum was crazy to close the first half.
So, once again, all 3 games won in the series was all impacted by the bench. We saw it in game 1. Obi Toppin with 17, 5 threes in game 1. Game 2, you saw everybody for OKC came off the bench and had huge games. And then we saw it last night in game 3 with Mathurin and TJ McCollum. So it's both these teams are very deep, but we as we've seen so far in this finals, wherever bench shows up is most likely going to win the game.
I think also the main stat that we're not talking about, Indiana 8-0 when Caitlin Clark's in the building. She's doing the Reggie Miller. Did you see that?
Yeah, Dale. I'm be honest, he definitely gets a spark. We saw Leah Boston next to her as well. Dale, one thing I could say is for small market finals,
air quotes.
It was electric in there, Dale. It was electric in there.
Yeah, it was. I think both crowds have been really good. OKC,
there's no doubt I think in anybody's mind, OKC has a top 3 crowd in the league.
100%. And they are considered technically a small market, but their crowd is always, even when they were bad, they were pretty loud. But yeah, I gotta own it. I said Thunder in 5, Thunder in 6. But we'll see. It's definitely much more competitive than I gave them credit. They're a good team. I said they were a good team. I just, you know what it is? It's the fourth quarter, and I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. I just think they get a little tight. And I think sometimes they get away from their game plan, and you had Chet going one-on-one to the cup. What? You got the MVP at the wing. You got Jalen Williams. You got Caruso. You got guys. Why the hell are you going to the cup? And then he's getting swarmed. And then he's running back on defense like a lanky ass guy. Like,
and I think that comes down to experience. Still, at the end of the day, this is a very young OKC team. I'm gonna go back to this, people. Let's not forget this team has 53 wins of double digits or more throughout the regular season, and we saw them blow out teams numerous times throughout this playoff run. They just don't have a ton of experience winning, 1 possession game, 2 possession games down the stretch, and we've seen it so far in this finals. When there's a nip and tuck closeout situation, they're just not able to do it. In game 2, they won the game because it wasn't needed for them to put it away. It was already handled late third quarter, early fourth with a blowout win. Games 1 and 3 comes down the stretch, and they've been outplayed both times.
100%. We'll see if Caitlin Clark's in the building Friday night.
It's a must.
Yeah, it's a must. Because I think they do have a game Friday, but we'll see. And I don't know if she's not playing yet. I don't think she's back from injury, so she's chilling. But by the way, WNBA ratings have been down since she has been out.
Shocker.
Yeah, no, not a shocker at all. Do you still have Thunder in 6 or 7? Or are you going with Indiana?
Well, first, still, I'm surprised you're asking me this.
I gave you my opinion. I think it's Thunder in 6 now. I'm just gonna keep going.
I know, but I at least I gave you a chance to switch it, Dill.
No, can't go.
I gave you a chance.
Yeah.
I was like, sure. You said 5. I said it gave 3 and 4 back home. I don't know about that. I'm gonna say OKC in 7, but
okay. You wouldn't be surprised if Indiana won.
From right now, Dill, I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana wins at 5.
Wow.
Because if the game, like I said, if it's a nip and tuck, let's just say, for example, it's a 3 possession game with 4 minutes left. from what you saw of games 1, 2, and 3, who are you expecting to win the game? If there's a 3-4 point game, 3 minutes left on the 3 minutes left in the game.
Well, it looks like Indiana right now.
If Indiana can just stick around,
they just got to hang around, because if they get blown out, it's over.
It's over. They just got to hang around, because you're seeing it in your very eyes and you're witnessing. They get a little tight down the stretch. We saw game 1. We saw game 3. They just have to stick around. And not for nothing, you got to give them credit. Halliburton has been clutch. And not just Halliburton, everybody. Pascal, TJ, Obi, game 1. He was
I don't think in the first 3 games of the finals, I don't think Halliburton has shot a free throw.
He hasn't.
That's crazy.
SGH, I think, is at 26 attempts
per game
so far. No. For the first 3 games of the series.
Okay.
Tyrese.
People were saying, they said he would have had 12 points. They were trying to clown him. They said he's just a free throw merchant, but that's his game.
And not for nothing, he's not gonna get those calls like we saw in OKC. We saw a lot of bumps. But even the shot to go into halftime, Dale, that would have been a foul game 1, or even in a Western Conference Finals. There was a lot of ticky-tack fouls. Now they're not getting that call.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but got to give Indiana credit. They seem like a team of destiny right now.
Real quick, shout out Rick Carlisle as well. Got to give him his flowers.
Oh, he should get the Finals MVP.
Yeah,
honestly,
so far he's been dicing them up. He's been playing chess. I'm not gonna lie.
And what are they playing?
They're playing chess. They're playing chess too, but
they're playing chess too.
But we can't. Rick Carlisle is at an advanced level right now.
That's a fact. Real quick before we get to the NBA, what's going on with my Knicks? Why do we?
Perfect.
Why do we keep?
I wanted to talk to you about this, Still. I wanted to
keep
bring
getting
this
denied.
Up.
It's like we go up to the hot girl and it's just denied.
Yeah, what's up with the New York Knicks and having, I'm gonna say, horrible management? This is all horrible. First of all, you fire Thibodeau, right? And you don't have a backup ready, or you don't have your plans figured out, because you try to get Jason Kidd, denied. You try to get Ide Udoka, denied. You try to get Flinch, denied. Who else? Another coach.
Jason Kidd.
No, I said Jason
Quinn
Kidd.
Snyder.
Quentin Snyder, denied. So I think y'all got 5.
Yeah, we're 0 for 5.
0 for 5. Why are you contacting other teams for a head coaching job? And not for none. You're contacting, I'm gonna say, all might be top 10 coaches in this league.
You ain't shooting for the stars. Why shoot?
I understand that, deal, but you had a good coach. I understand maybe Thibodeau probably didn't feel he could take you to where you wanted to be. I understand that part, but you just don't fire the man and then to the public admit that you're trying to acquire a head coach and asking these other teams, and Striker now doing so. To me, that's pathetic, Dill. You should be in the behind the scenes, not trying to grab the attention while the finals are going on, and being real quiet behind closed doors and trying to figure these things out. There's Tyler Jenkins available. There's my boy Frankie V available. There's Mike Malone available.
They don't want him.
I understand that, Dylan, but why are y'all being distraction? It's the NBA Finals, and you're all here getting denied. You look thirsty, Dill. Come on now. You got to do better. The front office got to do better.
I'll say this, when I blame James Dolan and the ownership, because when he had his little toy, when he was working on the Sphere in Vegas,
this guy,
he was out of he let Leon Rose do everything they did, and we were successful. Now the Sphere is done. He's back, and he wants to cause havoc. He's firing the coach. He's getting denied. He's calling all these coaches that he wants. Now, if we end up with a coach that they ultimately wanted, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But, you know, I think it's a bad look. I agree. But on the other point, I feel them, because I'm like, hey, listen, if that's the guy you want, shit. It's like, and also, what also moves the needle?
No, I
money.
understand. I'm not mad at you guys for trying. you should try to acquire the best coach available. Absolutely. I think Adrian Doku would have been a great fit for the Knicks. I
But
could
he
have
has a
seen him
great
coaching.
thing in Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I would have loved to see him as the New York Knicks coach for the next 5-10 years. I think
When
he's capable.
when you're negotiating for a car, you negotiate, and you know what gets him more money.
Yeah.
You put more money, and that might be the ultimate thing. Be like, maybe we could get an offer that one of these coaches can't refuse.
Yeah, but Dill, don't you understand the fact that this thing is spelling out publicly? The next coach might, not saying for sure, but might be like, you know what? You hollered at those other 5 guys first. I'm not interested.
No, what I
And you gotta
what
take
I'm
the
worried
ego into
about.
you gotta
No,
take the
I
ego
get
into
that.
it.
What I'm worried about is I'm worried about going to one of these guys and if we finally get an interview with one of these coaches, them sitting there like, well, you just fired Tom Thibodeau, who brought you to back-to-back playoffs over 50-game
He's
wins, and
yeah,
you booted him. If I have a successful season, are y'all gonna boot me? Where's the line?
and you could make the case Thibodeau turned the franchise around.
He did. And I feel sorry. I said it when we fired him. I said I feel bad for Tom Thibodeau.
So
He's the scapegoat.
so whoever's the next coach to come in, how long is their window to win a championship? Because clearly
I don't
it's
even think
championship or
it's
bust.
yeah. I don't even regardless if they get a 3-4 year contract. I think it's a year-on-year basis. I don't even think
For
I
that,
don't even.
for that, in my opinion, you would have stuck with him.
I agree. I think we're on the same page there. I don't even think they go NBA coach. I'm sticking with Jay Wright and Rick Pitino.
About Dan Hurley.
That's a good call too. I heard rumors about that too.
Isn't he retired? Well,
no, he's not
away.
retired. But the thing with Rick Pitino and Dan Hurley, they basically run the whole program. They don't have to go to anyone. Dan Hurley's won back-to-back national championships at UConn. He owns that program. Rick Pitino is one of the best recruiters in the Northeast. Like, he has a great thing at St. John's. So, I don't know. When you're in the NBA, you have people to answer to. And those type of old school guys, no nonsense, I don't know if they want that. You know what I mean?
James Dolan.
Yeah, exactly. An owner that's like, that's
And
what I'm saying. You know what the solution is? Build another sphere.
Yeah, maybe,
just build another one. You got billions of dollars. Just go do it.
Not for that. Let's give Dolan some credit because the sphere has been a success so far. Give some credit.
Yeah, I heard it was very cool. I gotta go, but yeah, he just needs another toy so he could go out and work on that and leave the basketball people with basketball. I think that's the biggest thing. But
so real quick, though, before we move on,
yeah.
Now that we're at this point and it seems like you're striking out, let's just say on your dream coaches, right? Now, moving forward, what is realistic coach? Down the line for you guys, is it? Like
I think it's a college guy, like I just said. I think it's either Dan Hurley, Rick Pitino. I think they're gonna go after. I know
like Mike Malone.
I think that's the only guy, but like, it doesn't even seem like they want him, and that's sad because that's a champion. But I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking inside the locker room. What about Jalen Brunson's dad?
I heard that. I heard Stevie A mention him a couple of times. He's a former player.
He's just gonna cater to Jalen, though.
At the end, he's been on that bench for a couple of years now. I'm not just gonna assume he's gonna cater to him, but at the end, I'm gonna respect his basketball mind.
He's good.
He's a former pro, and I think he could do the job. It's just, what is the window? Because if Thibodeau was out after Eastern Conference Final, if I get eliminated next year in the first round, is he done? That's my thing. If you're gonna fire Tibbs, you gotta have to replace him with a championship head coach. I think you gotta replace him with a coach who's been there, done that, won the title. Like maybe it might not be as sexy like you would like, but maybe like a Budenholzer, maybe like a Frankie V, a guy who's been there and done that. I understand it's not sexy, Dale, but those are championship head coaches. That's
We'll
what you
see.
want. Do you want to win a championship in the next 5 seasons? Yes or no?
Yes.
You need a championship head coach. Not saying Dan Hurley or Jay Wright's out their picture, but I'm just
They're
saying
winners.
be realistic. Be realistic.
We'll see. Ugly scenario though, but all right, kid. Let's get to the NHL. Game 3 was on Monday night, and holy shit, we should have went with Florida. I don't know. You did, yeah.
I remember -104 money line and over 4.5.
Yep, or 6.5. 6.5.
That would have been plus money. I did alternate because I already know we just trying to get a good number. Remember the money line was -160. I think.
Yeah, you're right. It was a little high. The only thing I hit on was the over 6.5 at plus money, and Corey Perry anytime goal scorer plus 325. So we do end
Early,
in
too.
the green. Yeah, it was early.
Yeah.
But holy shit, fucking Florida's a wagon right now at home. Sam Bennett, another goal. He's on fire. Brad Marchand, another goal as well. Sam Reinhart had a goal. Evan Rodriguez had a goal. Carter Verhey had a goal. I mean, they were coming from all angles, and it just 2 goals each period. They wind up blowing them out. We'll talk about game 4 in just a little, but Panthers, kid, Florida, they're a hockey state now. It seems like, huh?
It's been a hockey state, right now. 2 wins away from going back to back.
That's hard.
Yeah, not shocked at it by one bit. Florida's been the best team in the league for about 2 seasons now. Oilers, offensively
Great,
but kind of surprised it was only able to score 1 goal in game 3.
Big Bob.
Big
That's
Bob,
why.
So I expect them to bounce back for sure for game 4. It's gonna be interesting tonight, Dill, but we can't deny how great this Florida Panther team might just be.
Yeah, Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, fucking 32 saves on 33 shots. He's fucking standing on his head right now. So got to give him credit for it. And they got Stuart Skinner. They chased him out. He let up 5 goals on 23 shots. Got to get him out of there. Had to get him out of there. So game 4 will be tonight in Florida as well. Real quick before we get to the plays, we had a little NFL news. We had a signing. Chargers running back J.K. Dobbins signs a 1-year deal with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Just a 1-year deal. They're going to rely heavily on these 2 running backs. JK, they drafted out of the second round this year, RJ Harvey out of UCF. He was good. He was going to be one of my sleeper picks for like fantasy or just like props because Sean Payton loves to run the ball. But I like this signing. It's a nice 1-2 punch for a veteran and a rookie.
Yeah, to me, I'm kind of surprised that JK took this long to get signed. I understand he has a
injury prone.
Yeah, horrific history with injuries, both his ACLs and everything like that. But from when he was healthy last season, I understand it was behind a pretty good offensive line. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great for first, 9-10 weeks of the season. J.K. Dobbins was popping off the screen, and he was electric. So the fact that they're able to get him for, in my opinion, a pretty good deal, especially in this new running back market, I think it's a win-win for the Denver Broncos and J.K. I think if he doesn't get injured, I know it's a huge if, people.
Yeah.
I think behind that offensive line if he's able to get the starting role, if he can stay healthy, 16 plus, 17 plus, still wouldn't be surprised we see 800 plus double-digit touchdowns from J.K. Dobbins behind that offensive line.
Yeah, last year he had 195 carries for 905 yards and 9 touchdowns. He rushed for 4.7 yards a pop.
And
Thought
that was
JK
13 games, I think.
Let me see. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games.
I know.
So if he played all 18, he probably would have rushed for 1,000 yards.
1,211 touchdowns, probably.
I like JK. I'm
do.
biased because he went to Ohio State, but I think the kid is good. He's been riddled with injuries.
Yeah,
That's just been the problem.
especially last year. When he's healthy, he pops off the screen, and he can lay the thump too.
Yeah, he can. I do like the kid RJ Harvey though out of UCF. We'll see how they decide to split the carries, but it
I'm
does.
telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if JK's starting week 1.
Well, I'm
Wouldn't
looking
be
at the
surprised.
depth chart right now.
Is
and
McCollum still on the team?
No, RJ Harvey is RB1 and JK is RB2, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he just got there.
Yeah, well, that and also you want to use him at the goal line. RJ's your speed guy,
And
and
not
then
for none, he'll be more of like let's just say like
third
a
down back.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all know. Remember Reggie Bush, Alvin Kamara early on.
Yeah,
Sean Payton loves to get his running backs involved.
yeah. That's why I wanted to draft him. A little fantasy talk right there. But yeah, shout out JK, man. I'm glad he's still in the league. And to your point, I'm surprised it took him this long to get signed. Anything else, kid, before we get to these plays? Anything else you want to talk about real quick?
No, that's it.
We talked about the Italians and Anthony Roman, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
About
okay.
Roman. We coming deep. Don't get me wrong. I was a little worried. Justin Durant still on the team, so we're still good.
Hey, we're about
Less
almost
than
a month till All-Star break. Wow, time's fucking flying, kid.
Yeah.
Holy
Today
shit.
definitely feels like the first real day of summer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
All right, kid. Before we get to these plays, a quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, guys, let's get to these picks. Kid, we are ready here. Week 12, championship week in St. Louis. Too bad St. Louis is not playing in the game, but we got the DC Defenders and the Michigan Panthers. And I'll say, I think these are the best two teams. The way they've played late in the year, offensively, really coming on. We'll see. It's a dome. I don't like domes. I've told you that multiple times. I'm not a dome guy, but we'll see how this.
It shouldn't be a dome championship game in June.
That's so trash.
All I'm saying.
Football was not meant to be played in a dome. That's just a fact.
I understand. I think June. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it hurricane season? June, right? Hurricane season.
I thought it was September. Let me check.
I understand June. I'm gonna roll with it. I understand June might be hurricane season.
They said June 1st and November 30th. Hey, we're both right.
Both right.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's crazy. 3 months for hurricane season. That's crazy.
No, but like I'm saying we're both right.
Yeah. But I understand it was a small chance of a hurricane, but it should be outdoors, people. That's all.
5 months. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yo, you said November. I thought you said
September. No, it was November. Holy shit.
I thought you said September 1st. Damn.
Nah.
One thing I would disagree with, but I can't really disagree with it. But I'm going to anyway. I wouldn't say these are the best two teams, but I can't deny they showed up championship Sunday.
Who would you say are the two best teams?
Like I said, I can't. It's hard from right now. It's hard to say. But about 8 days ago, I think you would have been with me, the Battlehawks and Stallions.
They both got blown out.
I know,
and it's football. Anything could happen in a game, but I would agree. I would agree. St. Louis was really good this season, and
to me, in my opinion, I'm gonna say St. Louis was a little better, but when the rubber needed to meet the road, they didn't show up.
I like that one. Rubber met the road.
Yeah,
but I said this for most of the season. I think after like week 4 or 5, when we were like, okay, Stallions ain't the Stallions anymore, I was like, Michigan looks like a complete team, and we're seeing it now.
the last week of the season when they got uh embarrassed by the Roughnecks. That threw me off them. How many times did I say, like week 4, week 5, week 3, damn, Michigan might be the best team.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan looking good.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, Dill,
Hold up.
I'm
Let me read the lines before you
all
make your
right.
play. Yeah, Michigan is the favorite, -3, -155. DC +135, +3 on the spread. Total is at 50. It's a high total. I think they learned their lessons from last week, but kind of see where you're going with this one. Going Panthers, huh?
Give me the Michigan Panthers minus
Wow.
one. I think -157. I caught on the money line. Would I lay the 3? Probably not. People, probably not. Because it might be after what I saw last week. I'm not gonna lay the 3. I'm gonna just pick the Panthers to win it all. I think they have a better offensive line. I think they're better coached. And in the back of my mind, people, I could be wrong, but I think what we saw last week, especially offensively from the defenders, might have been a fluke. Hey, they could prove me wrong and show up offensively 2 weeks in a row, but I don't. I think we saw the DC defenders' offense at their best last week. I think it's gonna be hard to duplicate against. I'm gonna say a pretty good defense in Michigan. So give me Michigan on the money line, Dale. -155, -157, whatever you could get.
I really wish it was -2.5. The hook
I wish it was
scares.
1.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan as well. I got to start buying into them. I kept saying they're the most complete team on both sides of the ball, but I really haven't been backing them that much because they were big favorites or I thought there was some value on their opponent. But I'm going to take Michigan here. Might as well at this point. Both of my futures are dead. So I'm off
I
on
think
my future.
everybody's futures are dead.
Yeah, it was tough this year. I'm not gonna lie, it was much tougher. I think the lines we talked about it with Colby. Lines were much sharper
Yeah,
this
I
year
think this
for
is my
UFL.
first under 500 year in UFL after
Yeah.
3 years strong.
Well, we'll definitely get you our records for after this game next podcast. But yeah, I'm kidding. I'm gonna take it. I just like their offense. I think offensively they're just a little better than DC. I still don't trust DC's defense. I've mentioned it a few weeks in a row now, and I think Michigan will be able to stop the pass and the run. So I think the total spot on. I think we see maybe 24-20 game, maybe an under, but I'm going to take Michigan here. I think they win, and I think we have a new champion, regardless who wins. Excuse me. It's going to be a new champion.
I also lean the under as well. I don't expect both offenses to strike like they did last week. Like I said, I think DC offensive performance last week, I'm going to go on the limb and say might have been a fluke. They could prove me wrong this Sunday, but I'm pretty sure they won't score 30 plus again. That's one thing I'm confident about.
All right, kid. Let's transition to the NHL game 4 tonight in Florida. The Panthers hosting the Edmonton Oilers. Florida laying 1.5 -140 on the money line. It's actually come down a little bit, +125 for the Oilers. Total again 6.5 +116. It's crazy. Every game has gone over, and the number keeps getting better, like better odds. So that's actually very surprising to me, but I'll let you start it off, kid. You got to keep rolling with the Panthers, I think, right? For you?
Yeah, I do like the Panthers. I do think they will be back-to-back champs, but after being embarrassed, let's just be honest, how good the Oilers has been.
Yeah, they were embarrassed.
Game 3. I expected to show up there, so give me the over 6.5 at +110. I'm surprised we're getting a plus money here, people, but I don't know. Maybe they expecting a under game is due. That's one thing I can
it
admit.
is.
An under game is due. A 3-1, a 2-1, maybe a 3-2 game is due. But I don't think it happens in game 4. Give me the over 6.5 at +110. Deal. I also like Panthers as well, but I think it'll be Taz after an embarrassment night in game 3 from Edmonton. So give me the over. I expect Edmonton to score a couple goals, and we already know Panthers are going to show up. So give me over 6.5 +110.
Yeah, keep in mind, Stuart Skinner, the goalie for Edmonton, he got benched last game, but he is quote unquote Mr. Game 4. He's 6-0 with 2 shutouts. He's only given up one goal or less in 4 of those 6 wins, and 2 goals or less in 5 of the 6. So maybe that is why an under is due. But
that's why we're getting plus money.
Exact. And 4 of the 6 wins, Edmonton has won by 3 or more goals. So, Skinner's game 4 numbers, they go hand in hand. I think after getting embarrassed like that on the road, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Corey Perry, they're going to look at this team. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins are going to sit there and be like, listen, we cannot go home down 3-1. That's just not an option. So I'm gonna take the puck line here, -1.5, plus 285 for the Oilers. I'm also gonna take them on the money line, plus 125. I think they have to show some heart. I think this is a must win. I think this is a must win. You can't go down 3-1 going back home. I think it'd be over for them at that point then. I'm going to go Evan Bouchard, too, for the Oilers for a little player prop. I like over 2.5 goals. That's at -190. I know if that's too chalky, you don't want to play that. Over 3.5 shots on goals at plus 120. Over 4.5 shots on goals, plus 300. He's been ridiculous this series. 9 shots, 8 shots, and 7 shots on goal. He has 24 shots on goal in the first 3 games of this series. Almost twice as much as the best player in the world, Connor McDavid, who only has 15 in 3 games. And he's second on the team. So, yeah, Evan Bouchard, he is just getting pucks on the net. So, over 2.5, over 3.5, over 4.5. You get a little plus money. I would sprinkle like a half a unit on the plus money prop, but I love it. Matthias Ekholm, he's had at least 2 block shots in 9 of his last 10 games as well. So, I like that over 1.5 shots on goal. It's at -150, so I think it's a little playable. And we got to keep going back to my guy, Corey Perry. Anytime goal score. He's had goals in back-to-back games. We cashed the future in the series prop as well. But you could get anytime goal score for Corey Perry again at plus 300. So books aren't adjusting. I also like Leon Draisaitl. I think he's due for a goal. You could get him a goal at plus 125 as well. So I'm all over the Oilers tonight, kid.
I like it, though, just because that screams the over. It kind of screams the Oilers, too. But, hey, if they have a type of night, I know Michigan is going to – I'm not keep Michigan. I know Panthers going to score at least a couple, though. Yeah. That screams the over. I like it.
I just hope it goes back 2-2, but we will see. Let's go to the NBA, kid. Saturday night in Indiana. Hopefully it's a better game than it was last night.
It was a good game.
It was a good game until the last 4 minutes. And OKC is actually bigger favorites. -6 now on the road, -230 on the money line, +6 for the Pacers, +192 on the money line. Total is at 225.5. How are we playing this one, kid?
To be honest, it's tough to bet against this OKC team coming off a loss. I think it's tough to bet either of these teams off a loss because neither of these teams tend to lose back-to-back games. I think neither has lost back-to-back games throughout this playoff run. So It's tough to see Oklahoma City win. Let's not forget, they have 53 wins by double digits. So just from that perspective, I think the play has to be -6 OKC, tie it up 2-2 going back to OKC, possibly regaining momentum back in the series going into OKC though. But what we've been seeing thus far is not that. I'm gonna touch something else. I'm gonna touch 2 props. So if you got something on the side or the total deal, I'm gonna let you take over because I got 2 player props for this one.
Yeah, I only have 1 player prop for the game. I would lean the -6 just because we saw in game 2 the turnaround and how they look after a loss. Both teams off a loss. It's like that zigzag theory. When the other team wins, I think the next game you got to back the other team. But 6 points is a lot in a lot of close games. And if, like you said earlier on in the show, if Indiana starts hanging around, they're gonna cover this number. And they're live too. So I'm going to go Jalen Williams, though, over 1.5 3-pointers at even money. He had a so-so first 2 games, but he looked much better. He led the team in points for game 3. Turnovers are an issue for him, but, I think his touch from beyond the arc, I think it's good. He went 1 for 2 in game 3. And, he is 3 for 11 in this series. That's like, what, 27%? But, if you go back to game in the Western Conference Finals, he was a little better later in the series. So I think he's going to start heating up a little bit. And depending on who guards him, whether it's Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, I think he should knock down a couple threes. So at even money, I think it was a little enticing. So, he's had 4 straight games with only 1 made. I think he's due. I think he's due for 2 threes. They need him. So over 1.5 threes at even money is gonna be the play for me.
I like that deal just because they need him to show up. They need big games from their star players, and that's Jalen Williams and SGH. So I do like that deal. My two player props will be on the opposite side. One, I said I leaned it for game 3, and that's Pascal Siakam over 19.5 on -115. He got there in game 3 with 21. Put it in a parlay, Dylan, but I didn't take it official with the SGH under. Wish I would have just did those two with the parlays. We would have been money there. But give me Pascal Siakam. We saw him to start game 3. He was more aggressive early on. I think he had I think 6 out of the first 10 points. So I like to see that from Pascal. We know what he's capable of doing offensively. No shade, Dylan, but we saw him will have 3 30-point games against your New York Knicks.
I don't recall those.
I know, Dill. I know, but we know Pascal could show up and go bonkers.
Why do you think he hasn't?
OKC might be the best defensive team we've seen in 5 years.
That's fair. Now, do you think it's a huge disappointment if they lose this series?
In my opinion, I'm not going to say huge, but I'm going to say big because at the end of the day, you won the West. I'm not going to say convincingly because you went 7 games with Denver, but
But that was their only test.
Yeah, exactly. I think next year the West will be better. Like I think round 1 it'll be a tougher matchup than the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's fair.
When you won by an average of 30 points a game. I don't think next year round 1 you're going to win by an average of 25, 30 points a game. So
that's fair.
I don't think it's going to be a huge loss, but I think they're so young, and I think their championship window is wide open for the next couple of seasons. I think this will be one they will, if they lose, they'll be like, we could have started a dynasty sooner than later. Maybe that.
Yeah. All right.
And then my other player prop deal is give me Shepherd. Go over 2.5 points at -140. I understand this is a short number, people. Game 1, he had 3 points. Game 2, he had 3 points. And then game 3 last night, he had 4 points. Give me over 2.5. I expected he gets a ton of minutes. You know what he's able to he's in there for defensive efforts against Shea, but he's going to be able to get some shots up too alongside TJ off the bench. So give me Shepherd over 2.5 points at -140. He's cleared this number every game this series. Wouldn't be surprised he's at 4 or 5 or 3 points again.
All right, kid. And I also heard you have a WNBA play or a teaser. My thing also, Wings they might be the worst team in the league, but Paige Buckets, I don't know if you saw her. She came back and had a 30 clip. She's elite.
She's elite. We all know what she's able to do scoring the ball, and if she's gonna be a problem when she gets some better talent around her. It sucks that she's just on a bad team, but hey, maybe give her a couple more weeks. We saw what Caitlin Clark. Remember the first 8 games of the season, Fever were like 1-8. What are Dallas right now? 1-8, and then you never know. They could.
No, Dallas is 1-10.
1-10. So hey, maybe they could turn it around the second half of the season. Who knows, still? But all the talent is there. It's a bad team. It's the reason why they would have the first overall pick, people.
Yeah.
But let's start there. Dallas taking on Las Vegas Aces. Damn, it got to 7. Shit, I was able to get 5.5 earlier. I would lay the 5.5, but this is why we put it in a teaser, people. So if anything, 6-point teaser, you get it down to -1.5. Give me the Vegas Aces to -1.5 versus Dallas. Play it safe, and then only another game on tomorrow. Chicago Sky taking on the Atlanta Dream. Deal. Give me the minus from 11.5 down to -5.5 against the Sky. They've been bad, people. I think they lost the other day. I think almost by 30 against the Liberty. The Dream, not as good, but they're a good team. I expect to take care of business. I expect them to take care of business. I'm gonna just play it safe, people. So give me the Aces down to 1.5, and then the Dream down to -5.5. I'm -140, 2-way 6-point teaser.
Oh yeah, fucking love it. All right, kid. Let's go to the diamond. We'll finish up on in the baseball. Mets, they're hot, baby. 6 in a row. Best team in the league right now. I mean, 45-24. We are just dominating. Shout out the Rangers. They fired their coach and they just fucking learned how to hit. 16-3. They blew out the Twins today. 16 runs on 16 hits. Got to give it up for them. For a team that's very bad on the road, that's a good sign for them moving forward. And we also have the Rockies again losing once again. But what do we have? 3, 4. We got 5 games left here on a Thursday. I'll let you take it over. Any plays for you on the diamond?
I don't love today, people. The only game I will honestly like is St. Louis taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Like Sonny Gray on the mound, St. Louis lost 4 straight games with Sonny on the mound there. I think it's tough seeing them lose 5 straight. So give me the -136 on the money line with the St. Louis Cardinals at Milwaukee.
All right. Yeah, I do like the -1.5 for the Tigers. Tarek Skubal. I mean, that's the handicap.
Mhm.
Best pitcher in baseball. He's so good. Kind of like the home dog here with the Royals here at home plus money. I guess I'm just not a Will Warren fan. He's not that good on the road. 6.54 ERA. Couldn't even get out of the first inning in his last start against the Dodgers. Royals have the better bullpen. I think they have the better starter in Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo isn't what he was last year. Seth Lugo at one point, we were talking Cy Young.
Yeah.
Not this year, but he is good. So I'm going to back the Royals here. I do think they'll be competitive. Yeah, that Brewer game was kind of interesting. I wanted no parts. I'm taking the Pirates here. First 5 plus a half a run. I love backing Andrew Heaney here. Usually I get a much better price, but the Pirates are playing well. They won again yesterday. They've won 5 of their last 6, and in 6 road starts for Andrew Heaney, he's only given up more than 2 runs one time. He's the better pitcher between him and Jameson Taillon. Jameson Taillon's fine, but Andrew Heaney is the better pitcher here. So I think he'll be able to limit the Cubs here first few times through the lineup. So first 5 plus a half, I think the Buccos are live here. And I won no parts of the last game, Houston and Astros. That's even though White Sox been competitive recently, I just want no parts in that. Yeah. But that's gonna do it, kid. Any big plans for you this weekend? What you got going on?
Nah. Well, do I have any? Not that I know of. I'm be
it's
honest.
Father's Day.
Yeah, so shout out to all the dads out there. Probably no big plans because my girl's gonna be with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want to play ball? My girl's going away too, Florida. I'm dropping her off at the airport tomorrow.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah. If anything, we either play ball or long toss. Well, I don't know about long toss.
I think I got like 5. I think I got like 5 in me. Yeah, I don't know about long toss.
We probably shoot around or go to the dog park.
I told you. I over the weekend, or I think it was last week. I bought a net. I bought a ball.
Oh, yeah.
I was really
we out.
Yeah, I told you I was really trying to ball.
Yeah, we chill. But barbecue, throw something on the grill.
Do you know any indoor courts? It's supposed to rain. That's the only thing.
The only one I used to go to is City Courts. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Teaneck?
shut up. Yeah.
Remember?
But they go hard.
Yeah. Quick story, people. So only like you gotta pay to go in, and like a lot of very good basketball players go there, right? Or some people from the area go around there. Back in the day, if you ever saw Get Rich or Die Trying, I hate the fact that I don't have his name off the top of my head, but the young Marcus actor that played young 50 Cent, Get Rich Die Trying, me and him played ball against each other, and I guarded him because he's mad short in real life. No disrespect, but he's short, and yeah, that was a cool story. I was able to ball versus an actor, so that was tough.
Wasn't it 50 Cent?
Nah, it was the dude who played 50 Cent when he was young and Get Rich to Die Trying.
Mark John Jeffers.
Yep. I guarded.
Jeffries.
I blocked him.
Wow.
He dropped buckets on me too. For the record, he did drop buckets on me.
I'm looking at the cast right now.
Yeah, I also dropped buckets on him, and I blocked him once.
Let's see where he's from. He's 35 years old. He's 5'3". You let a 5'3" guy drop buckets on you?
18, 17.
He's from the Boogie Down Bronx.
Yeah, I was at 17. I was probably like 5'7", cuz.
Yo, you know what's funny? Real quick, last story. I was in where was I? I was on the Upper West Side. I think it was yesterday. I was in one of these bodegas, and I was with the route guy, and he was like, yo, this guy, he's one of your people. I said, what you mean? He said, he from Jersey. I said, yeah, my people. I said, I said, me and him gonna connect right off the bat. We hit it off. He goes, yeah, I go to AAA right there in Lodi. I said, Lodi. I said, I'm in Garfield. Yeah. I said, I'm right there next to it. I'm in Garfield. He said, oh yeah, we ran out the Boys and Girls Club and played ball. I said, yo, let me get your number.
Oh yeah, they do. Our Brandon's always posted up.
Yeah,
7 to 9.
He said, yo, the girl in the front desk, she get low. I said, what you mean? He said, she be just taking the money.
Yeah, that's what they do. I think they charge $5 to $10 or $15 per head. Yeah.
Oh, so she making bread.
Yeah.
Hey, 2 times in this economy?
Shit, untaxed? Shit.
Gotta love it.
We dry snitching, Dale. Let's end it all.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy the games. Good luck on all your bets, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.